Welcome back to another Canon Cloak Dagger recap. I'm your host Terry. Today I'm doing episode 4, Call and Response. And man, you know what? I'm going to finish the season. It definitely has me intrigued, but I've been saying for a few episodes, and I felt the exact same way this episode, that this show tries to be grounded and it tries to, really show you, images that are true to the city, true to what's going on, tries to be kind of gritty, but it doesn't quite get there like the Netflix shows. Like I think about Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Punisher, and it doesn't get to that type of grittiness, and it has nothing to do with the effects. There's no effects really in those shows. They rarely use any effects, especially for those heroes. So it has nothing to do with that in the budget. It's just something was missing. I'm like, they showing you all these things, her crushing pills and snorting them every second, her mom hanging out with this married man, spending her money to get drunk, like the kid being profiled, his brother being shot by police. Like, they showing you all these things that should hit, but they don't. I'm like, for me, they don't have that level. And I was just rewatching just the ending of the episode before I started this, and I think I pinpoint what it is. I think it's the actors. I think the two main leads are not seasoned enough to deliver a great performance, because you talk about the climax kind of this episode, and I know I'm working backwards, but it all builds up to this kind of this standoff between Tyrone and Tandy, where they're kind of going back and forth with each other, and it should have been good. Like, I don't think the writing was great, to be honest with you, but at the same time, the material was, juicy enough where after this whole episode, we should be invested in this. And I didn't feel that way. That, like, the guy playing Tyrone is not that good. I've been thinking that this season so far, and finally, not just that moment with her, but the moments with his dad and everything, I'm like, he's not that good of an actor. He's just not convincing at all. And maybe that's who they want him to be, like that type of character, but I doubt it. I just don't know that guy. That guy doesn't seem real. It's not that he's privileged and black. It's just the way he acts. He's so whiny about everything, and it just, I don't know. It doesn't feel real to me. His anger doesn't come across real to me, none of it. And so this brush up, it just kind of comes and goes, but I'll come back to that. So going right into this episode, picking up where the last one left off, and they're like, hey, we need to talk. We keep finding ourselves next to each other, whatever. I was like, as soon as I saw it, I was like, what is it called? Punisher Daredevil Graveyard episode. I was like, that's what this is going to be. I'm calling it right now. When they had, when Punisher had or Rooftop, not Graveyard, my bad, Rooftop, where the Punisher had, Daredevil tied up to the rooftop, and they pretty much spent the whole, episode kind of hashing out their differences. Not hashing them out, but at least laying out what makes these two different from each other, and kind of seeing eye to eye on their motivations. And that's exactly what I think we got. Except it was a little weird. The timing of this was weird, and that's what really confused me, because it was like, okay, when is this taking place? Because they keep cutting back to these two in the church talking, but they also cut to Tandy and Tyrone doing their own thing. So it's like, well, which came first? Did this happen and then they met each other at the church afterwards? Or does this take place after the church? When does this happen? And I think they really did some weak writing on how the time played out, because I have to believe that the everyday life stuff they were doing happened sometime after the church. And so it evidenced by that, because they're kind of talking about what they saw in the visions and, what your issue was and how you solve it. And Tandy tells him, like, you need to go into the police station and confront this dude or find out who he is or whatever. And literally after that, Tyrone fakes like his bike is stolen so he could go to the police station. So clearly it's coming off as he did that after she told him to. But then you see kind of her with this guy and that her mom is dating, the lawyer, and she sees his hopes and she sees he's a good dude and she starts trying to work with him and work towards becoming a force that could get her dad, rectified. And then she sees him get killed, but yet at no point did she bring up to Tyrone, hey, yeah, I saw the guy, he's actually kind of good. Or, hey, I saw a guy get murdered and his stuff get burnt down. Like, she never brings that up. So it almost seems like that happens after the church, which doesn't really make sense because the stuff with it seems like it happens before the church. Not before, it happens after, excuse me. It happens after the whole thing, but we know that's not true because she tried to kill herself right after. So it's like, where does this really fall in line with the time? Because I'm not able to keep track of it. Now, the only thing that would explain it is that this church discussion happened over multiple days where they started off talking and they kind of did their thing. Came back the next night, talked, and then went and did their thing. But there was no indication of that in the episode. And they were wearing the same clothes each time. So, it just, that part, it makes sense. That felt like lazy writing to me because I couldn't understand. Not say I could. It's their job to really lay out where this is happening in time. And from what I gather, it wasn't linear and it didn't make any sense. So there's that. Like, I'm cool with them in the church kind of talking about, oh, I saw this and this. I know this about you. Oh, this is what happened to me. This is what happened to me. Oh yeah, that night, what happened after that night? This power only comes here. Like, they're hashing it all out. They're connecting the dots and getting closer and closer. And then she's just, let's test our limits. Now that was weird. But then they find out how, if they get any close, they, blow up, whatever, and all that. And I was cool with everything in the church. It's the stuff outside of the church. And honestly, I take it back. It's Tyrone stuff. This episode is Tyrone stuff. I liked Tandy's thing. She really had the daddy complex, and she was trying to be an investigator or whatever. And I was cool with all that. Trying to go about the legal way, take these guys down, blah, blah, blah. And, she kind of felt like secure with this guy. It was cool. It was natural. It was nothing spectacular. Tyrone's story. Okay, finally cuffed up old girl. I don't know what that was about. That just happened. And then he's yelling at his dad, took his bow cutters, whatever. Then his dad takes him to, I don't know. Now, I'm not saying that, like, it's bad writing or whatever, because that's something clearly New Orleans related, something I'm not accustomed to. That's fine. It just comes out of nowhere. And his dad acting was not good. Like, he did not fit with the other people in whatever that group was. His dad's acting was bad to me too. But I guess he takes him, Tyrone, to show him, like, I don't know. I honestly don't know. Even with all that, I was like, what was the point of that? Like, what was that to tell Tyrone, like, hey, I run with some tough crowds. You better stop disrespecting me, or what? I mean, I guess it was to teach him about patience and control and how he has to control himself and all that. But still, this is the interesting thing that I actually like. It's not a negative. We all said the first episode, this was a switch on what society looks at these people as far as a young black man and a young white girl. And they switch circumstances. And with that, I find myself many times like, I don't know, like, that's not how black family acts. That's not how black family would do that. But then I have to check myself and be like, you know what? Not every black family's like that. We can't be a broad brush. Maybe that's it. They're privileged. Maybe they did live this way. Maybe they teach them that way. And so when he's yelling at his dad, telling some dad, you need to know when it's not your business. I'm just like, I would have knocked his head off. But his dad and his dad like, boy, come with me. And I'm like, okay, they're going to have real, black man to man talk. But then he takes him to some random, whatever. And so that took me off guard. And I still don't know what it is. I think that's what bothers me the most. Like, they kept saying marching. Like, I guess I could look it up, of course, but in the show, you would think they would explain, like, it clearly wasn't no band because they was talking about killing people, but maybe it was a band because they had costumes. And I don't know. I don't know what it is, but they could have did a better job with that, explaining that. And that was so weird to me. And then he's scared to be in the police station. Something I could identify with, but I don't know. I just feel like him and how he goes about his situation is so backwards and don't make no sense. But Tandy, I could dig what they was doing with her. And I would say with this show so far, I like the duality and whatever, but still, I would like to see it where it's not 50-50. Like, they keep trying to split it down the middle. I think some episodes, there's a storyline that's more interesting. I would like to see more time spent on that, and other episodes is going to be a different storyline. Like, spend time with the more interesting one. Don't try to just split it 50-50 because it's Cloak and Dagger, black and white, yin and yang. Don't, like, some of that stuff is cool, but I don't think the screen time needs to be that way, because sometimes I don't care what Tandy is doing. Sometimes I don't care what Tyrone is doing because it's weak. And so that's my one issue with that so far with the show. But, yeah, let's talk about that ending. It was random because I'm watching it and he's just like, wait, Tyrone's like, wait, you want to kill yourself? He just gets real pissed about her killing herself. Now, right away, I could tell it was kind of a, you're white, like, you got privilege. Why would you waste that privilege when so many people don't have it? And I'm like, that is such an elitist way to talk to somebody when you got a rich family. Like, yes, you's black, you gonna have the stigma, but you ain't struggling like other people. So don't try to stand on your soapbox. And it came off really annoying from Tyrone. And so, of course, she tries to counter, like, you got a nice house, nice family, both parents, you go to a nice school. Like, don't try to tell me I'm out here getting it. And he like, you only doing that cause you can. I'm black. Everybody's trying to kill it. And I'm just like, both of them are not at a level where their acting can convince me or make this a good scene. They were not, and Tyrone was so bad. I did not like his acting in this. And again, the writing was a little flimsy cause it's like, Tyrone going that hard at her when he lives this lifestyle, he needs to chill out. And I was really found myself siding with Tandy. Now, not killing herself, but she confided in you that's how she feels. She didn't do it, but that's how she feels. Like, life is hard. And you just said, no, life ain't that hard. Why would you kill yourself? And you get mad at her? Like, that's not the way to be supportive. Not to say that Tyrone is supportive, but it was just a weird reaction. And then they kind of go at it. And then, let me check your privilege. It was so trash acting. But it should have been better, is all I'm saying. It should have been better. And I come to the conclusion that these two actors just not there yet. They not there yet. And the show's gonna, and a lot of these shows in season 1 struggle to find their footing. Especially if it's not on Netflix. Like CW, all of them do. Because these actors aren't into the character yet. But hopefully as you go longer, they get better into it. But right now it's just like, yeah, these actors are young and they're not able to bring the funk like they should be. So, I think that was it for this episode. Like, I give it a B- though. Like I said, I like the church part of it. I like kind of seeing where Tandy's story is going. Oh, sorry. The last thing I gotta say, and another knock. How they gonna kill bro? And it wasn't broad daylight. It was like kind of the evening time. But it's a big clear window out to the street where anyone can see. The lights are on during office hours. And she comes in and shoots my man's in the head. And then burns the place down. I'm like, maybe if you was fast enough, you could get away with shooting somebody in the head and getting out of there with no one seeing you. But you took the time to gasoline up his office and burn it all in the window where everyone can see you. That's terrible right now. Of course they had to do it so Tandy could see, but that's bad writing. I'm sorry. That's bad writing. That was hilarious, but I still give it a B-. Entertaining. The best parts to me is the Cloak and Dagger stuff, that they are really dancing around. They're taking their time and building up these characters, which is fine. But clearly the best part is when these two can be sidekicks, partners, and really start using their powers to take people out and do things. We're just not there yet. So I enjoy these two when they're together. When they're doing their own separate thing, it moves the story forward, but it's not as exciting. So I'm still gonna stick around, but yeah, I don't see this show ever getting to a point where it's on any of the level of any of the Netflix shows, even Luke Cage, which I'm not a fan of. Or, okay, it's gonna be better than Iron Fist, but, I don't think it's gonna get there because of these actors and kind of what they did with the budget. But anyway, B-. Go to the comment section. Let me know what you thought about this episode. Thumbs up, subscribe, share it around. And remember, if you heard it here, it's official canon.